Hey, it's Ben, Dash 9 Computing, and today we're going to talk about a game that's been done to death, Breakout. So why don't we make a version for the ESP32 and build a little controller or something like that. And today I want to use MicroPython. Let's check it out. Okay, here we go. Breakout, Dash 9 Computing. So I rigged up this little button to be the start button. And then you'll see there's I can go right and left. Oh yes, the first time you get score, it does delay. And it goes all the way through the blocks rather than just breaking one block and bouncing back. I didn't figure out the rest of that. Boop. Yeah, there we go. If you hit the ball kind of as it's moving, it will pick up speed. Let's see if I can do that here. Oh, well, you can change the trajectory at least, if I can say that word. Yeah, so there we go. See, now it's picking up a little speed. Oh, I missed it. Now it will just continue to throw out balls, and when you clear the level, it will say cleared. But that's pretty much Breakout, this version of it, pretty basic. But I just thought it'd be fun to kind of make something simple. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm gonna build a little better kind of container and make it a little easier to play rather than doing this fiddly stuff. And I'll also show you the code. All right, I'm starting to get kind of excited about this. At first, it sort of felt like, breakout, schmakeout, but I think it'll be kind of fun to have like a unique controller. So this is a shower curtain holding rod that I cut off. It's 12 inches long, maybe a little too long for what I'm thinking, but I was thinking of putting the buttons in the ends because it's the right width, and then the ESP32, I'm just gonna kind of mount like this. I mean, it's not pretty. I was thinking I could cut a hole out or indent it, but I don't know if I'm gonna, I don't know. It feels like a lot of work. And then I have the switch. I've had to kind of take apart some more things, but basically I'll run the start switch here, and then the buttons, I kind of created a little loom for them, and I'm gonna have to kind of pull the things apart to get it to go in. But long story short, ideally start button, ESP32, buttons here. The other question I have is power. I have this kind of like a little pack, which is nice because the ESP32 does not have an on-off switch. So this little power pack, it's hard to see a little bit, but there's an on and off. And this just has some AA batteries, and it plugs into this little port here on the ESP32 and will power it up. I'm not jamming it in right now to demonstrate it because it's really hard to get out. That is a tight fit. So I'm torn between doing something like that or just a battery that has a USB-C on it, like a little, like a little battery pack, like a little phone charger type of thing. But then where does it go on this rod, Like I guess I have a battery one that would slide in here, but that's gonna take up a lot of space. Gosh, I don't know. Because these buttons are very long. I don't know if you can tell, but they're like 2.5 inches deep at least. And then room for a battery, and it'll make it feel a little heavy on one side. I don't know, I'm gonna have to think about that piece, but I'm excited to kind of get this thing together. Why not? And then if someone comes after you, just bonk, maybe that's not the right way to play. Okay, let's keep going. So here it is, the final product. It really could use a better mounting system. I just kind of jammed it in there, obviously. Not so stealthy, and a little paint, a lot of little things, but buttons and that. Let's plug this bad boy in and take her for a whirl. All right, we're just gonna plug in some power. Let's see. There we go, Breakout. I was kind of bored with it at first, honestly, but now that it's done, it's actually kind of fun. It's cool, right? I mean, the screen is small. You could obviously make a bigger screen and all that. Things I have thought about is you do not want to bring this probably through like customs. It's got a lot of wires and buttons and unusual looking electronic devices. Plus, if you bring say a battery, it's gonna look highly suspicious. I was also thinking it might make a nice, baton for runners. Okay, these are terrible ideas. How about I play through the rest of this level? Maybe I'll speed her up so you can see what it looks like when it clears the level. There we go. Game cleared. And then it restarts. So, kind of a fun little project. All right. Let's take a quick look at the code. Very quick one. I'm using Thonny. That's what you're looking at right now. This top portion is my local drive, and this is the actual ESP32 running MicroPython. So Breakout PY, see how it's downloading it to show you? That's what's actually actively on the board. If we make changes here, it gets saved to the board and boom, you see them. You don't have to compile. It's a big time saver and kind of cool. And it gives you some output down here about it when you do run it. Right now I've hit stop up here to kind of stop the program. Otherwise you won't be able to see this if it's currently actively running. I have mine, the same code, I also renamed it calling it code.py. If you do that, when you plug the board in, it automatically runs your code. And that's what I wanted. The idea was that I just have a battery pack with a switch and you could just kind of flick it on, play the game, flick it off, flick it on, play the game. You don't have to come in here and run it. So, I think that kind of makes sense, I hope. But just like I said, I'm going to super skim. Here's where you do some imports. I had to make a couple changes here. Well, quite a few little changes just to what to import, because some code wants urandom, other ones random, for example. Which buttons to use and how to treat them. Originally I made it with a joystick, and then I thought, that's kind of cumbersome. I thought the buttons on either end of the thing would be fun or funny. I don't know. You got to keep yourself entertained. Here's the screen dimensions. My little ESP32 is an Adafuit, and it's got a 240 by 135 screen. Didn't really need to mess with delay much. This is just like brick width, height. Also the paddle down below, you can change how big you want the paddle. Colors, etc. I did change a few things. I'm gonna kind of zoom through. Like I said, I changed quite a few things. I changed how it behaves. I added kind of some splash screens in the color, some different fonts. With these fonts, you have to, download them, these .bdf files, and put them in the appropriate directory when you're building it. Or, excuse me, see, I'm so used to using Arduino. So for example, that font, that REL-12 BDF, here it is. It knows to call it in the fonts file. It sort of shows, this is just the file structure. Images, library. So yeah, here's where I say to display this breakout and to kind of use different colors. And then here I went to 36 font, 36 size, bold font. How to refresh the screen, display, etc., etc. And that's, like I said, it's a little dense in spots. How to handle the paddle. For a long time, I just couldn't get the ball to bounce off of the paddle. And then if you actually want to play the game, right, so you can either just reboot it, or right now I could just hit play. And it's saves it, and it's actively running. You can't see it, but I can see it's running. And down here it says it's running and there's no errors. So maybe that's proof if you need proof. But this was a fun project. I'll post the code on GitHub. And just for Susie, my friend Susie, who always says I just kind of just end videos. All of a sudden they'll just stop. I'm really tempted to just stop. Psych. But really, thanks for watching the video. I hope you give this a try or adapt it to your own ESP32 and put it on a big screen. You can make some other kind of fun things with it. So thanks again. Take it easy. Bye-bye.